There we go. This is now being recorded for training and quality purposes. Now, I do have some live viruses here on my, this is actually one of the endpoints that I have enrolled to Comodo 1. And first, let me open up a presentation for you. Basically, this presentation will explain how our advanced endpoint protection system is different from legacy antivirus and from other security systems that uses a default deny approach to security. Now, first, let's look at the history. First and foremost, looking at legacy antivirus and how they protect your system and where they fail. Uh, Legacy antivirus systems just uses signatures. Some may have behavioral analysis system and they use heuristics, and they have a default allow approach to security. How the default allow approach, if you're not familiar, is basically you have a list of known viruses, known malware, and all applications that are on the computer are scanned, and they're pretty much counter-checked against this blacklist. So whenever something is found to be malicious, it's automatically blocked by that antivirus system. So any known malware, any known viruses will automatically be blocked, or will be quarantined by the AV. Uh, and everything else, everything that's not on the blacklist gets allowed to run on the endpoint. How is this an issue? You basically have the possibility of being uh, the patient zero on this type of security system. For a virus or for a malware to be considered a virus or a malware, it has to infect something for it to be known throughout the different security solutions out there. There has to be a few endpoints sacrificed, basically, for this approach to work. So once it is known that this application is malicious, then it gets added into the blacklist, but there's already an endpoint that has gotten infected before that even happened. Now, one of the problems that we're facing right now is the amount of viruses that comes out each day, and it is a fact that all malware and all viruses comes out as an unknown file, something that's neither blacklisted nor whitelisted, right? So that's where the legacy antivirus failed. Now, there's the early default deny approach, which really protected the endpoints, really protected uh, the computers, because instead of using a blacklist, it has a whitelist that it counter checks the applications with. So unless your application is something that's digitally certified to be a safe application, then it will not be allowed to run. Now, this is also a problem because it is counterproductive when you're using an application that is either a custom application specific to be used for your company. For example, there are legacy accounting applications that are affected by this, wherein they're not whitelisted because there are old applications but are essential to how specific companies would function. So that would be one of the problems that early default deny approach encountered. Now, that's also when virtualization came in, wherein there will be a container containing the actual unknown application. It will run in a contained manner so that you'll still be able to run the application, but it failed because there are measures that malware writers would do to bypass these kinds of containment. Our containment technology does not use any virtualization. It doesn't use any hypervisor. So it doesn't use up a lot of your resources. On standby mode, it's only using 8 megabits of your RAM. And aside from that, it is very difficult to bypass because it doesn't, there's certain steps that malware writers would take for them to bypass a virtualized environment. Are you familiar with the term uh, zip bomb or time bombing?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Now, just to give you some information regarding those terms, zip bombing is one of the most common ways that malware writers would fool or would bypass virtualized environments. Uh, most virtualized environments, most containment would take some steps to see whether an application is malicious or not. And there are tricks that malware writers would do to bypass those measures. For example, let's say the actual payload of the malware is on a zip file. Zip bombing is when the actual malware would be zipped multiple times. Um so that, for example, if a virtualized environment is set to allow an application to run after 5 attempts of unzipping, if nothing happens, let it run on the kernel level. Zip bombing would be the malware writer writing the malware to be zipped multiple times, like 10 times. Once the virtualized environment runs the application, and it sees that nothing wrong happened after unzipping the file 5 times, then that would already bypass your security. Another one is time bombing. Let's say a virtualized environment would check if there would be something wrong that would happen after 10 milliseconds. Malware writers would write their malwares in a way that, for example, they would tell the malware to not do anything until 20 milliseconds have passed. That alone would already bypass your containment system, infecting your endpoints. Our our containment technology is pretty unique because of the fact that it doesn't use any virtualized environment. It doesn't use any hypervisors, and it's very difficult to bypass. This is actually the part of Comodo client security that protects you from zero-day threats, zero-day malware, ransomware, crypto lockers. Now, that's basically the advantage that we have over legacy antivirus systems. Now, let's go ahead and actually do a quick demo of what the Comodo client security is capable of. Now let's check. This is actually a virus right here, hashmanager.exe.
Mhm.
And let me just check the status of the different parts of Comodo. 1, antivirus is enabled, firewall enabled, auto containment enabled, virus scope is enabled. Now let's go ahead and extract this to the desktop. And let's see if this will run. This is actually not the virus that I was talking about. This is actually a pretty safe application. It's called the hash manager. It's basically used to rehash viruses. Um, it's an application that we use to test out our containment technology. Now, this is something that the actual hash manager is something that I can rehash myself, change the signature of it so that it becomes an unknown. So as you can see, it's running as normal. I can close it as normal. Nothing wrong happened. Now let me use hex editor to change that. And this is actually one tool that most malware writers would use. Just a simple hex editor, and they would just need to either add a line at the end of the script, like a name or a period. For example, I can put J Javier. That would already change the signature of uh, this specific application. Let me save this.
So which is the virus here? Is it do you have a virus called Hash Manager EXE, but then you also have an app called Hash Manager that's
Yes,
not a virus?
actually, this is not an actual virus right here, Hash Manager. This is just a save application.
Yeah.
We basically do this demo just to show you how the containment technology would be able to react whenever there's something that's unknown that's introduced to an endpoint. That's basically how it
Okay.
works. Later, once I have this rehashed version of Hash Manager saved on the desktop, I am going to close down all components of Comodo Client Security except for the containment, and let's see how it reacts. Okay, let's do
Okay.
that. I will name this rehashed because I rehashed it. And we'll save it on the desktop. There you go. There's the rehash. Now that's already considered as an unknown file. Let me
Okay.
close my hex editor. And I'll turn off the components one at a time. I will say permanently. By the way, there's one thing that you can also do with Comodo Client Security that may not be available with other antivirus or any other protection systems out there. You can actually have a password protection set so that no one can tamper with these settings. So I'll turn the firewall off.
Okay.
I'll say permanently, then okay. Auto containment is enabled. Virus scope, I'll disable that. Okay, so we have antivirus disabled, firewall disabled, virus scope disabled, which is the behavioral analysis system. We only have the containment system protecting this endpoint. Now earlier, Hash Manager run perfectly without any problems. Let's run this application instead. Rehash. Let's see how it opens. Okay, notice something different.
Yeah, green line, a bar.
Yes, that's basically the containment system right there. Whenever you see an application with a green bar around it, that
Yeah.
means that it is running in a contained manner. The application is still able to run. You'll still be able to use it as you normally would, but it will not affect the endpoint to a kernel level. That's how your endpoints are protected. And I can do this with a virus. I actually have a virus right here. This is a crypto locker.
That's
But
scary, man. That's
yeah,
scary.
it is scarier. But the thing is, this crypto locker, well, this is an older crypto locker, so I'm not really sure if we'll even be able to see it being contained. It may just be automatically blocked by the security system. Because whenever there's already something that's known, even if you turn off the components, it will the
Yeah.
the advanced endpoint protection will still just block any known
Yeah.
viruses and malware. So I can try to rehash this and we'll see how this works. Let's check. This is exciting.
Basically, that's the second tier of protection. If it's not known, then it's run on auto containment. But if it's already known, of course, it's not going to let you run it. That's what you're saying, right?
That's absolutely right. So let's see. Hopefully I can rehash this properly so that it is not known and so that it runs in a contained matter. We'll
How
try
quickly
that.
you guys get updated on the database of the known viruses and stuff?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, we get updates regarding known malwares and known viruses every few minutes, to be quite honest with you.
Got it. Okay.
So, and plus it usually takes about 15 minutes for the Comodo client security to get updates from the server itself. So it's pretty efficient. Plus, if there's any point that you need to force an update, you have a way to do that now. And that has been implemented since our last update. That was 28th of January when that was implemented, wherein you can force update the agents. Okay, let me try to do this again. So as you can see, since I had a new application, a new zip file, automatically the advanced endpoint protection re-enabled all of the all of the stuff that I have here. So let me
Oh,
disable
good.
them
Okay.
again. So
That's actually a good thing.
it is definitely. So that also is another measure to avoid end users tampering with the actual settings. Even if they turn them off automatically, the server will re-enable everything for you.
Okay.
So let me extract this onto my desktop. I have multiple password protection on this file because it's that harmful. Let me close this and this, and I will rehash this real quickly. Hopefully I have enough time to do that before everything reactivates. Let's see. Scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. Here we go. Let me put my name again, or let me put something else. New hash. Let's see if it will even save on the desktop. Save as new ransomware. There you go. It's saved. Awesome. Okay, let me close my hex editor again, and let me delete this one. Uh, I deleted the original virus. I have a version of Cryptic here, which is a ransomware. Let's run it. Remember, we only have the auto containment turned on right now. Everything's still disabled, so that's a good thing. We're just waiting for the ransomware to run. Actually, let me open up my task manager real quickly as well.
I think it is running. Is that the one with no name, possibly?
Yeah, there you go. There it is.
Okay.
Now, there's another window that will open up pretty soon. I've already seen this ransomware in action, wherein it pretty much blocks almost half of your desktop, and there's no way for you to close that window.
Mm-hmm. How come it took so long for it to run? Is it just the containment?
It's the containment, basically. The containment sees this as an unknown file, and it basically already is trying to determine what type of file this is. There's a file rating system, and there's also Valkyrie, which is a file verdict system in action. So you basically have the auto containment already running in the background while the ransomware or while the unknown file is trying to run. So as you can see, it's running with a green border, like so. Still haven't
Yeah.
seen the rest of the ransomware open up though. Let's check our task manager again. Let's see if there's anything additional that's trying to run.
So how do I know for sure that this is really working? I'm not getting affected. I mean, I know that there's a green bar that tells us it's contained, but are we certain that it is being contained, that it's not going to affect the rest of the kernel?
Yes, absolutely. You can rest assured that once everything is contained, well, basically how this works, I won't be able to tell you the containment technology in detail, but if you're
But it's not
familiar,
virtualized. It's not virtualized.
it's not a virtualized environment. It's not using any hypervisor or any hypervisor support, hardware support from your endpoint. That's why it doesn't use that much resource. Uh, all I can say is that if you're familiar with the old Linux command uh, hroot, it works within that premise.
Okay. Can I, while you have the task manager available, can I see how much memory your whole the whole endpoint's taking? That's always concerning me.
Sure, sure.
Did you say 8 meg? You said the whole thing takes no more than 8 meg?
Just the containment, yes, while on standby. While it's running, while you're running applications in containment, of course you'll see something higher than that. So let's check.
So two questions is, in general, as a sum, without doing containment, how much EP is taken up memory-wise, and when it's doing containment, how much that's taking up?
That's a very good question. All of the agents, all in all, not just the security, but all of the agents, if I'm not mistaken, anywhere around 250 megabytes, all in all, including the agents that manages your endpoints like the RMM agent, ITSM agent, around 250 megabytes. So if you have, for example, an endpoint with just 2 gigs of RAM, that should be more than sufficient to run everything, plus the operating system, plus any applications that you would normally run on an entry-level endpoint. If you have more resources, of course, so much the better.
Is it me, or is it, that seems kind of high, 200 meg?
Well, that's actually just an estimate that we were given by our development team. So far, if you look on the actual performance usage of the actual
Yeah.
processes under Comodo, it's so much less than that. That's already running in full capacity, basically. But on standby mode, it's much, much less. I mean,
Okay.
right now, just the Comodo client security, you have one component of it running on 4.3 MB, point 0.5, point 0.7, 6.2. There's a lot of different components that you'll need to
Yeah.
look into.
Yeah, that's not too bad. What about the containment? Well, would I see how much containment's taken out? Does it say?
You really won't be able to tell which part is which, to be quite honest with you.
Oh, it's hidden. It's hidden one of those processes.
That's right, it is, definitely.
Okay. 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 All right. Go ahead. You can. Okay. So right now I see that you're running a cryptoware and it's got a green, and obviously it's not affecting the kernel because otherwise it would have encrypted your.
That's right. That's absolutely right. And I can still do all the things that I need to do. I can just close the window that you have running, even if it's a malware. Not a problem. If you see something that's running in a contained manner and it's taking up most of the actual space on your desktop, you'll still be able to click on any icons on your desktop. You'll still be able to click on the start button that as you normally would. And basically, if you want to get rid of anything that's running in containment, you basically just go Open up your Comodo client security. Go to the task, containment task, and just reset the containment.
What does that do? I'm sorry. What does that do? That erasing all
Resetting
the con.
resetting the containment basically removes any traces of what's been contained. The actual file will still be on your desktop, but when you run it, it will still be in a contained manner anyway. And just
Got it.
less expected, without us re-enabling anything, the server automatically re-enabled. Antivirus, firewall, virus scope, everything's pretty much automatic. It depends on what you have set on your profiles. So you have full
Okay.
control over the security of your endpoints. You just need to configure your profiles and apply the profiles on the endpoint, and you have pretty much unprecedented amount of security, layers and layers and layers of security for your endpoints.
So the way I look at it is, it's the key thing here is other than the database-based type of protection, since really in reality you can't even you can't really protect against 0 day because you don't it's not fast enough for various reasons to always
Mhm.
to cover all the viruses and
Mhm.
malware and all that.
That's right.
And the other thing with the users I've been with is there are times that they purposely install something that they don't know is malware, and I discover that even with antivirus, it still gets installed. So I guess that's where it helps in this.
Absolutely. Because again, as for how our system works, it is a default deny platform, but to the extent you're still allowing
Yeah.
the actual applications, the actual installers, the actual executables to run, but
Hmm.
in a safe way, in a contained manner. And it doesn't, as long as the actual, as long as you see that green border, whatever is running within that green border will not affect your endpoints to a kernel level. So that's
Okay.
where that's how Comodo Client Security protects your endpoints.
So let me ask. Let me try to understand how this would affect in real life. I had a customer that
Mhm.
purposely downloaded a malware that has redirected their default URL on their Internet Explorer browser.
Mhm.
So so at that time we are running webroot. It didn't pick it up. So
Mhm.
I have to manually fix it for them, clean it up. So with your containment, uh, two questions. One, will it still cause the redirection, the URL? Two is, how quickly can I undo the process without me doing a manual cleanup, which takes time?
Well, basically, as long as the actual malware is contained, you won't even need to do cleanup. It will just run in a contained manner. That's about it. Now, as long as it's running in a contained manner, whatever malware, whatever virus you have running will not affect any other applications within your operating system. That's how it works. So if for example, if you have a malware that's designed to delete everything from your desktop, it will still run without deleting anything from your desktop. If you have a virus that's designed to redirect the URL on your browsers, or possibly, like, I've actually experienced that before, way back when I was in college, like rogue, um, how do you call this, rogue search engines. It
Hmm.
redirects you. Instead of having you go to your default homepage, you get redirected to like this unknown search engine. That will no longer happen. The malware, the actual malicious software will still be running, but within a contained manner, so it won't be able to reach any of your browsers, redirecting them. That's
Ah,
how it
okay.
works.
Okay, good. Okay, so So if they want to keep using it, they can still use it. It doesn't really affect it, and it just contain in a contained way.
Mhm.
Now, will it notify me, the administrator, that something has been downloaded? Is it how does it report back to me that something that's not trustworthy has been used?
Well, that's a very good question right there. And the answer to that, you have actual reporting here on ITSM. Let me show you real quickly. Okay, currently we are on ITSM. As you can see, it's already reporting that AV firewall is off because I've disabled it. Now, remember, you have monitoring capabilities here within Comodo 1 ITSM. Each and every endpoint will record whatever viruses or whatever software have been recently ran. Just like here, I've just created that rehash.exe earlier, and it already informed me that there is that unrecognized application that has recently run. And I can have this moved to malicious to inform all other endpoints that this is malicious. Once you have something tagged as malicious, it will no longer run in a contained manner. All endpoints will just block running that specific executable.
Got it. Okay. Nice. Okay. So that's and it's good that it's got a global policy, so all the other endpoints are reported the same way, so I don't have to manually do the same on each device.
That's right. And as you can see here, it already automatically tagged that new ransomware.exe.
Yeah. Hey, just curious. I never seen a ransomware in action like the way you ran it. If it wasn't contained, what would happen to your whole computer? Does it actually lock your whole computer or just certain files?
Well, actually, it will just lock access to any applications. You won't be able to click on the start button. That's what, at least that's what that crypto locker is supposed to do on the endpoint. It will stop you from clicking on the start button. It will lock you from clicking on any icons on your taskbar, on your system tray. You won't be able to double click on any icons on your desktop, pretty much rendering your endpoint unusable. And that
Okay.
runs pretty much right upon boot up. Once you log in, it's already running pretty much. So
Got it. Okay.
so
So
you
on
know
the
the actual window, the second window that's supposed to open up didn't even open up at all. Because one thing that may have happened there is that our system already tagged it as malicious before the actual second window even popped up, which is pretty efficient if you ask me.
yeah. So yeah. So I guess it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool where it's isolated, but you can still work with it because I
Mhm.
mean, you still might have some, like you said, you might have some genuine older software that's never been reported. So it's not preventing the customer from using it.
That's right.
Uh,
And plus, there's one more thing that I would also like to inform you about. Whenever something is running in a contained manner, you can also have the system set to open a special folder, which is called. Let me just check here real quickly. It's basically like a shared folder for everything that a contained application is supposed to save. It doesn't save on your desktop. It doesn't save on any other folder. It's saved on a specialized folder that will show up. Uh, there is a window that's supposed to show that. I'll have to check.
what does that folder show me? What does it do?
Let's say, for example, you're using a legacy application,
Yeah.
and that legacy application is supposed to save files for you. For example, you create a file and it's supposed to save. If it's
Yeah.
running in a contained manner, what will
Yeah.
happen is that it won't save on a kernel level, but
Yeah.
at least it will still be able to save your files on a specialized folder, which is also contained.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's how it works.
So on the flip side of that is it's good that you're blocking the bad stuff, but on the flip side is that I also don't want to slow the user down if it's genuinely good without me
Yes.
getting involved every second of it.
Yes,
Um,
that's actually one of the best things about Comodo. We even have a saying that I've heard from one of the guys who pretty much streamlined the AEP demos. He always says on his demos that Comodo advanced endpoint protection has a default deny approach for security, but default allow approach for productivity, because you'll still be able to run all of
yeah.
the applications that you're supposed to run, even if they're legacy applications and they're not whitelisted yet, but protecting you, and has a default deny approach to any threats and any viruses, any malware that you may encounter.
Yeah, that's kind of yeah. That's always my biggest complaint with AV is that it's got a default allow, and that alone I've seen many times. It's already infected, um, and it's very frustrating. And what they come back is that there's no way to 100% be up to date on database the second they come out, that kind of thing. But
Hmm.
that doesn't really solve my problem. You know what I'm saying? I mean, people are still getting affected. But then on the flip side is if you don't do that, then they can't be too productive on the real stuff, on the stuff that's
That's
just
right.
not on database.
Absolutely.
So this is kind of okay. So the next question is, let's say they I get reported back on legacy applications on a database and containment. I put it on a trust on the Comodo one. Now, and the folder that they already saved on the virtualized folder on the containment, well, that automatically gets put on the kernel level, back to the kernel level without me doing manual work after I select it as being trusted application on the EP.
That's absolutely right. Whenever an application is already tagged as trusted, it will no longer run in a contained manner. That's the best thing about this. Everything within Comodo 1, you have full control of using your Comodo 1 platform. So when you tell the system that this specific file is trusted, all of your profiles will basically react accordingly. So everything that has your existing profile set on them, all endpoints will be able to benefit. They'll all be able to use all applications that you have tagged as trusted.
Okay, and I don't have to do any extra work on the customer's desktop. Once I hit it, put trust on it.
And that's why Comodo 1 is one of the best platform that integrates security into your device management, basically.
Okay, cool. Okay, all right. Yeah.
So I really hope you enjoyed that little demo that we had with the advanced endpoint protection system. Do you have any other questions?
So is that the really key differentiator here? Is just the containment uh, for basically what I see is really it's kind of reversed from other antiviruses. Is you guys are default deny followed by default allow on the containment, right? Is that really the key takeaway here?
Yes, pretty much. That's basically one main factor that makes our advanced endpoint protection unique from other advanced endpoint protection systems out there. We have a specialized containment technology that doesn't use any virtualization. It doesn't use much of your endpoint's resources. We have a containment technology that you can pretty much control remotely from your Comodo 1 platform. And this, along with the other layers of security within our advanced endpoint protection system, gives you an unprecedented amount of security for your endpoints. That's basically the gist of this demo.
Okay, and I think this probably will help me, correct me if I'm wrong, this actually will be better for laptop users that are regularly not connected all the time to online for database update, right? So this way, if let's say the database is really not updated, at least have the containment to help them.
Yes, actually, it applies to all of your endpoints because this is one part of the Comodo client security that gets applied on whichever endpoints you have Comodo client security installed on. Uh, and plus, any endpoints that you have that connects to the internet needs that protection from a zero-day infection. So this is your first line of defense right here.
Okay. Let me take a look. I'm double checking on the Comodo 1 interface. I want to see if there's any other questions for you, the wave as far as management and can you just go back to the interface you have? I can't find it on mine because I don't have it installed.
Which one?
The Comodo 1, the interface managing the EP.
Oh, the Comodo client or the Comodo One platform.
Yeah, yeah, Comodo 1 platform.
Here you go.
Let's see if there's anything else here I could ask you.
Okay, let's start from the device list. We always start there. Okay, as you can see, automatically, AV firewall already turned back on. That's because I have
Automatic.
that's because I have the profile set to work that way.
And I can actually do cleanups and everything here, right? I could do everything. I could manage all the cleanups and etc. all from this interface, right?
Absolutely. You can basically schedule the scans from just configuring the profile. You can do all the necessary check regarding specific files that we're running from here. Uh, and if you actually go to the profiles, you have a lot of settings that you can configure. You basically decide how the advanced endpoint protection system will work. You have full control.
Okay, all
You,
here. Okay, so
all here.
that interface is equivalent to running interface locally.
That's right. And the best thing about this is if, let's say you'll be running a third-party security solution for your endpoints.
Yeah.
If you would just need to change several settings, what you would do is you would go on remote desktop, change the setting on one device, end that session, go on session with the next device, change the setting there, and you'll have to do it one device at a time, which can be a pain. It's pretty tedious.
Mhm.
This way, you can just create a profile, make sure that all your settings are already correct, save the profile, apply it on your endpoints. You just go to your device list and go to manage profiles. Then you just apply whatever profiles you want. That's about it.
Okay. All right. Cool. I think that does it. I mean, I really just want to know the key differentiator without going through the usual AV stuff. I mean,
Okay.
pretty much everybody much, it's a couple of things, right? One is everybody much do the same thing. Two is the integration with your tool. I think that's where the MSPs are really interested in.
That's right.
Um,
And that's also the reason why we focused mostly on the containment technology and how our system is different from other solutions out there. Because most security solution would work almost the same way.
yeah, yeah. It's just
How
who
we're unique.
gets who gets the update faster, and the problem is at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who gets it faster. It's 0 days to an issue. That's the problem.
That's right. I mean, uh, it is a fact that just last 2015, there were more than 2 million viruses and malware that were released out in the wild. So if you divide that into the days in a year, that would be like a few tens of thousands of viruses on a daily basis, all
Yeah.
starting out as unknowns. This is your protection right here.
Um, how good is your malware database? I mean, I couldn't believe that with the web root that I ran, it didn't pick up some malware stuff a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
Um,
Well, I wouldn't be able to go into much detail regarding the malware database that we have, the actual signature database that we have, but just to give you something to ponder on, Comodo has been around for more than 16 years. We are partnered with more than 7,000 companies. Most of them gets their SSL from us, their certifications. This includes companies that writes software. So we have a very extensive whitelist and blacklist because of this tying up with a lot of software writers. So
okay.
you can rest assured that when it comes to how extensive and how fast we are able to update our database, you can rest assured we have an extensive database of malware signatures and also a whitelist of all the legitimate softwares with their software uh, signed, basically. We have an extensive database of that.
Okay, cool. Good enough. All right. Jay, thank you for your time. And I think once I start using this, I might have a couple of questions for you here and there. But other than that, I kind of get the gist of the key differentiator here. So it's kind
No,
of cool.
not a problem. It's always a pleasure, Simon. And you know what? If ever you have any questions, you can send me a message on Skype or send me an email anytime. I'll remain as your dedicated product engineer. And by the way, I would also like to inform you that our sales representative has also been trying to contact you as well. I believe they sent you a couple of emails already. So
Yeah, yeah. And that's kind of what really got me back to revisiting this. But I think the Comodo one, the MSP platform took so much of my time, and now that I'm much deeper into it, it makes more sense to do that first and then look at EP. I'm in touch with your rep there.
oh, absolutely. That's great. So you have our sales representative. She's your dedicated sales representative, and I'll be your dedicated product engineer. By the way,
Oh,
while you continue testing out the platform, please feel free to inform me if you're having any technical issues or if there's any features at all that you would like to see added onto the Comodo One platform. Please feel free to contact me. I'll be glad to make sure that those requests and those issues are routed to the proper channels.
okay, got it. Thanks, Jay.
You're very much welcome. And again, thank you so much for your interest with Komodo One. Have a great day.